One of the most noticeable differences from the modern cello and the Baroque cello is the lack of the endpin on Baroque cello. Audience members tend to notice it right away, and of course as performers, it's a particularly new challenge to get used to holding the cello without an endpin. The reason we don't have endpins on Baroque cellos is they simply weren't invented yet. The cello came out of the tradition of the viola da gamba and similar large bass instruments that were played just by holding them between the knees. The endpin came later as additional support for the cello as we began to travel up the fingerboard and we needed that extra support to hold the cello in place. Holding the cello without an endpin takes some getting used to, but once you find the correct posture for your body and the size of your instrument, it actually becomes just as automatic as anything else. Luckily for most Baroque repertoire, you're not going to be traveling high up the fingerboard, so you don't have to worry too much about the cello slipping out of place from large shifts. That being said, once you get your posture comfortable, you're going to feel fine traveling up and down the fingerboard if you need to. By the late 18th century, they were starting to use endpins, usually ones that were pretty short and made of wood. But these days, if we play Baroque cello, we're typically going to be playing one without an endpin. A pretty good compromise before you're ready to switch over to a fully Baroque cello is putting gut strings on your modern cello, taking the endpin out, and using a Baroque bow. You can leave the endpin inside the instrument, but they're usually pretty heavy, so you're better off just taking it out altogether. If you don't have the right setup when you're getting used to holding the cello, you can really easily do damage to your knees and ankles and just feel general soreness in your lower body. Be patient, get used to the new posture, and also find the alignment for your knees and your ankles that makes you most comfortable. The height of your chair is going to make a big difference. I have pretty long legs proportionate to my body, so I try to get a fairly high stool. You're going to take the cello and basically find a way to just drop it between your calves. The idea is that you're cradling the instrument, not clenching or holding, and the real point of security for the instrument is right in here. You can see that I have one foot out further than the other. For me, it's usually my left foot. My left foot comes out a bit, and the right foot controls how close I pull the cello in. It's really important to have your feet flat on the floor, and that they're not pushed up with the heels in order to try to hold the cello in place. Having your heels raised is going to put extra stress on your knees and on your hips, and it's going to make you get sore much quicker. I never perform in high heels for this reason. You can see that my toes are pretty drastically pointed out. You can't quite grasp the cello when your feet are pointed straight ahead of you. It's too easy for the cello to just slip right down. By putting the heels in and the toes out, you make more of a cradle shape to fit the cello in. You're basically looking for that perfect spot in your calves where you're able to hold the body of your cello without it slipping out, even with pressure. There are a lot of variables that will affect how the cello works with your body. For one, how long your legs are and how wide the body of your instrument is going to control how much you have to open your legs and how wide your feet have to be on the floor. In terms of where the instrument comes on your chest, I would worry first about where it fits inside your legs and feels secure, and then let the instrument naturally fall up top wherever it does. Once you've got your comfortable setup, another common concern is bowing your knee when you're on the A string. The easiest way to combat this is make sure the back left corner of your cello is tucked out a bit from your leg, and that the right side of your cello on the outside is tucked in a bit. That angle towards your C string is going to give you enough clearance to play, even if you have long legs and your knees stick out. It doesn't need to be extreme, but just enough to clear your A string and your knee. Hopefully this answers some of your questions about playing the cello without an endpin. Be sure to try this out slowly, taking little breaks to stretch as your muscles adapt to this new way of holding the instrument. If you have any other questions about Baroque setup, be sure to leave them in the comments. If you like these videos, subscribe to my channel or consider becoming my patron on Patreon.